Hello and welcome to another Indycar video here on the channel. Last time I was talking about Indycar, we finally are going to have an Indycar game for 2026, which is awesome. Ends a 2022 year drought, but now we have something probably just as big as the Indycar game. We finally have a 2026 schedule coming out, and just gonna let my opinions off early. I feel like I'm kind of back at 2024 where I saw a bunch of good, but at the same time, there were some things I was really disappointed with. I'll talk about that later on in the video, but right now, I just want to get something quick off the bat. We finally have an update on Formula 1 in Incheon. Not an exact update of that of sorts, but something that could lead up to something bigger. Formula 1 is preparing for a show run in the capital of Seoul. Basically, what's being said is that the city of Seoul is going to host a Formula 1 show run, and from what I'm even seeing, Valtteri Bottas is also going to be there. And I remember seeing it. I want to say it was also in here somewhere. I don't know if that was just another source I was saying. Right, I don't think I have it up here, but they mentioned that Valtteri Bottas was going to be there. Hopefully to drive the cars, that would actually be cool. But I want to emphasize, even though the talks about Formula 1 and Incheon are being a lot more secretive right now, I'm still very optimistic about their chances thanks to show runs like this. Mainly due to the fact that we've seen show runs before lead up to much bigger things, like Thailand are doing show runs right now, and they're prepping for an F1 race hopefully in 2028. To be honest though, I don't know if it's just a personal thing. I think Formula 1 will do a lot better in Korea. That might be controversial, might not be, just personal opinion. And on top of that, not only has the Netflix show Drive to Survive brought in a lot of popularity, but the F1 movie has topped their box offices. If this isn't enough to bring Formula 1 back to Korea on the streets of Incheon, I don't know what is. But now to the main business at hand. So, once again, all the races will be on Fox. That's cool. Starting things off, we have the streets of St. Petersburg. Typical, starting March 1st, pretty good spot. The big thing though, March 7th, on a Saturday, Phoenix Raceway. Phoenix is officially back. I mentioned it before when I was talking about the IndyCar game that Phoenix is coming back. I know some people might have some bad memories. Like I know in mid to late 2010s, IndyCar was not having some good races at Phoenix, but as time went on, they made adjustments to the IRAT chassis, and we had good races at Iowa up until they did that stupid repay that ruined everything. Other than that, though, March 15th, the week after the Arlington Street Race, obviously not what we meant by wanting to bring Texas back, but what choice do we have? Barra Motorsports Park, March 29th. And one thing I will say about the calendar that I think is really positive, the reduction in 3-week breaks. The start of the season is much more front-loaded. I'm happy about that. I just think, though, as we scroll down, March 29th to 19th, that's a 3-week break. And then Long Beach to the IMS road course race, another 3-week break. So maybe we should have put Arlington and Alabama back a week, just so we can have only one 3-week break. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but Indianapolis 500, May 24th, obviously. And then we're still going to the streets of Detroit, May 31st. We get back at some more juicy stuff. And this is a thing that I mentioned that I'm really disappointed with. June 7th, Worldwide Technology Raceway. I don't care what you guys call it. I'm calling it Gateway. I'm never This is the only time you'll probably hear me refer to it by that name. It is Gateway, and I am referring to it as such from now on. June 21st, Road America. July 5th, Mid-Ohio. Cool. July 19th, Nashville Superspeedway. Why are we moving the finale away from Nashville? Nashville put on back-to-back bangers of races as the final race of the IndyCar season. Why are we taking it away from them? We got an oval back as the IndyCar finale. Awesome. We had great racing to finish off the season. Awesome. What's the deal? And I know the finale is going to Laguna Seca, which is, at least for me, a kind of a home track. Again, California native. I went to Laguna Seca before where they returned in 2019. I had a lot of fun, but Nashville was so awesome. And even though it's going back to a track I really like and I'm kind of a native of, I'd much rather see Nashville as a finale. It's super entertaining. Laguna Seca was doing just fine in its June spot. Or was it July? I'm getting my dates mixed up again, but Laguna Seca, at least my opinion, and even with the kind of a racing there, I know for racing, Laguna Seca definitely isn't the best. And that's also another reason why Nashville deserves to be the finale. I still don't see why we're taking it away from Nashville, and I'm very pissed off about it. Let's head back up before I lose my freaking mind. Iowa also gone, and as you could probably notice, we don't have Mexico City. Apparently, contract negotiations fell through. There won't be an IndyCar race in Mexico. Honestly, shouldn't be shocked at all. We've been hearing so much stuff about how much IndyCar wants an IndyCar race in Mexico, yet we don't get it. Honestly, why can't we just focus on building the product and popularity here? Because we really need it. August 9th, Portland. August 16th, though, our Canadian round on the schedule is moving to Markham, a suburb just outside Toronto. The layout, at least for me, it's okay. We'll see how well the racing does there. I know they had to relocate for reasons. One positive, though, that we can get out of the way before we move on to the finale. Milwaukee Mile is getting their doubleheader back. And I think this is mainly because after taking off Iowa, they had to redistribute the rounds. One race obviously going to Phoenix. And honestly, if we had Mexico here on the schedule, most likely we would not have a Milwaukee doubleheader. And as much as I'd like to see a couple more races and spread out so that we don't have doubleheaders, if there's any track that does deserve a doubleheader, it's definitely Milwaukee Mile. Again, awesome racing. The short track package, as it proves there, is great. And as long as you don't repave and ruin the freaking track like Iowa did, you'll continue to have great racing there. So that'll do it for the IndyCar schedule. Again, I am kind of disappointed at a couple things, but we can't ignore the positives. I'll give credit to IndyCar for giving the doubleheader to Milwaukee, which they obviously deserve. They do have Phoenix back on the schedule, which, as long as the package remains good and nothing else goes bad, they might have good racing there once. The other thing I do want to talk about before this video ends is that more information on African F1 bids. So, as you know, in South Africa, there are two bids going on to try and get a F1 race in the country. That is Kyalami and Cape Town. Right now, I don't think Cape Town is going to happen at all because, as you can see on the right, reported by ESPN, Kyalami is now getting upgraded. Many upgrades have been approved, and this could probably mean the track could be upgraded to Grade 1 standard, which then opens the light to host a Formula 1 race. This will mean Formula 1 will make their return to Africa. They haven't raced in Africa since 1993? I think so. 1992 or 1993. I know Cape Town has made their own prototype of a street circuit. I'll be honest, it just I don't think it'll be a good fit. At least my opinion on it. Kyalami though is a fun track to drive on, and if a race ever goes to South Africa, I will definitely have no problem with the race going to Kyalami, and could even influence how other tracks pursue bids, because in 2027 there's set to be two openings. That is if Spain goes back down to one race and sticks with Madrid, and of course there already isn't going to be a Dutch Grand Prix in 2027, so assuming I'm right, there will be two open spots. One could definitely go to Kyalami, but also, where does that second bid go? Possibly Korea, assuming that Formula One don't drown themselves in Saudi Arabian oil money and give a doubleheader to Saudi Arabia when Qiddiya completes. I really hope they don't drown in it and they actually give it to a deserving country, because Saudi Arabia already has an F1 race. They do not need two. And that might even open the door for potentially alternating races. With Thailand wanting to host in 2028, if they put up enough money, we could see the races alternate. Korea on odd years, Thailand on even years, and could most likely be slotted at the, I want to say, the beginning of the schedule, because you have to go from Australia up to Japan and China. You'll make the stop in either Thailand or Korea beforehand and then go from there. I think that'll be reasonable. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments about all these situations that I've talked about. Other than that, though, if you want to see more information on IndyCar or Formula One bids, please like and subscribe. It'll mean a lot to the channel. And I'll see you all another time.